Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Monday, March 25th, 2024. This is my pre-market report. Before I really get into this here, and I have a lot to talk to you about, let's just set the stage for the stock market. If you look at one thing this morning, that is the dollar on a relative strength basis. It's again getting this knee-jerk higher, which tells me the market is not happy right now. I'm not calling for a crash or anything here. I'm just telling you there's a little fear. We also have the 10-year yield sitting at about 4.24. Okay, relatively stable. We've seen some movement here, but nothing dramatic that is going to tell us that a crash here is imminent. But hold that thought. We have to talk about what BlackRock just said. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, stock futures this morning are under pressure just a little bit. Gold is catching a bid. Silver is flat. Cryptocurrency is catching a bid. Crude oil getting a bit higher. That sets the stage for today. Lovely. Let's talk about BlackRock here. So BlackRock is warning about long-term bonds. What is BlackRock trying to tell you? You're probably laughing if you follow this blog. You know exactly what they're trying to tell you. In my opinion, and I would imagine in yours as well, you realize that this debt market is a ticking time bomb. It's going to go off when? Well, not this year, not until after the presidential selection, and then maybe we're going to talk about it because you see the central banks are setting the stage for their another move. I'm not going to say it's their last move because we have no idea what they have in store for us. All we do know is it's going to be, well, pretty bad. They've already driven the world economy into the ground, as you and I have called that they would. They have sucked the consumer dry, and they're not done as they're moving further towards creating this neo-feudal system, extreme haves, extreme have-nots. You all know that. But with regard to BlackRock here and the bond market, let me just say a few other things here real quick. Now, I have said right here on this blog, you've heard me say this, that now is a good time to invest in debt. Well, I've also said that short-term debt is a good place to be in this environment. That's a fact, okay? Now, let's talk a little more about that. Okay, if you want to invest in debt here, the reason why I'm saying it's a good time to do it is because, look, the Fed is going to cut rates, and there's a lot of people who think I am wrong. Half the market, the investors, think it's not going to happen, but I'm telling you here, it's a lock. We'll cover more of that in a moment. But anyway, long-term debt is probably a death sentence, honestly, because we will get a meltdown here in the debt market on a scale that people are not going to believe. A spiking in rates so fast and so high, people are not going to, they're going to be completely blindsided as they usually are. The issue of exploding debts and deficits is part of the situation right now, which central banks have put in place to cause the eventual meltdown in the debt market. Again, these institutions here, collectively, central banks, you know this if you've been following this blog, they are working together to destroy the economy. They're working together to wipe out the middle class and issue in a new system, a neo-feudal system, a system of extreme control. And they're all in a race to bottom to destroy their currencies as well. And I've told you this for over 10 years. I think we've pretty much nailed this to the wall. Okay. Now, with that said here, let's move on just a little bit. This is a headline from Market Watch. Look at this headline here. You think they're trying to tell you something? First of all, inflation is here to stay. And how do we know that regardless as to what some people who believe the Federal Reserve is maybe on their side should understand? Look, the Federal Reserve is already talking about hitting their 2% target, a 2% inflation rate. Compound that over time, it's pretty damn big. But you see, people have been so dumbed down that they have no idea. But with regard to inflation, when I tell you this, I can't, again, underscore this enough. You haven't seen anything yet. People, how do I put this yet another way that I can convince those of you who don't think the Fed's going to cut rates that they are going to cut rates? Let's try this again. Central banks have a goal. Their goal is to own it all, to be the lenders and buyers of last resort. A central bank issues debt to the world because it's their one and only product. They have no tools. When you hear Jay Powell or another central banker from some whatever central bank telling you about tools in their toolbox, they have none. All they do is manipulate debt. That's it. Their product is debt. The more debt they issue to the world, the more they're called on to issue, the stronger they become, not weaker. And understanding this mechanism, cutting rates allows them to finish what they've already started again. And their ability to inflate is their Achilles heel. Now, you all know that, all right? I've told you this for years. You want to stop? You want to end central banking? You prevent one central bank, let's say the Fed in this case, from issuing a single dollar of debt. The whole system will start to implode. They must continually and relentlessly inflate. Now, this is kind of interesting. So you got this whole thing about inflation being here to stay, and the United States could face unsustainable inflation for the next decade. Now, what's missing from this here? You have to look at what's missing here. You see how the United States is singled out? No. This is a worldwide phenomenon. You're not allowed to know that, because if you knew that inflation is now a worldwide phenomenon, you'd have to say, hold on a second. You mean this is not just the fault of, let's say, the current party which is selected to sit behind the resolute desk? No. You'd understand that this is a collective effort by central banks to inflate, period, the end, and destroy the middle class and wipe out the economy. Now, this is interesting as well. So, European Central Bank, we already understand that the Swiss central bank here, the national bank, made a surprise rate cut. Surprised me, surprised everybody, okay, but they're setting the stage. And I've already told you, and I have been talking about central banks cutting rates before anybody else, just in case you didn't know that. But here we have this. Read this headline. The European Central Bank moving towards a rate cut, Italy's Panetta says. Let me go on. Reuters, the European Central Bank is moving towards an interest rate cut, Bank of Italy Governor Fabio Panetta said on Monday. The consensus emerging, especially in recent weeks within the European Central Bank Governing Council, points in that direction. Because again, they got the world by the throat. The economy, it's dead and buried. The consumer, dead and buried as well. The next phase is to cut rates so they can inflate even more. Now, again, half this market doesn't believe it's going to happen. And a lot of you don't believe it's going to happen. I think what you're missing here, the missing link, is you're not fully understanding why. Why is very simple. They're going to finish what they started. They need to inflate because that's their power. People are going to sit back and allow this to happen to them. And what this is going to do here, again, is very simple. Allow them to create more cash out of thin air and buy more debt. And that's how central banks get even stronger. How they solidify their stranglehold on all of us is a terrible thing. But that's where we're going here. Absolutely. Now, and here, just interestingly enough, with BlackRock, warning about long-term debt. I mean, this is, look, you get these little pieces of truth once in a while. Period, the end. You should know what you look at. When you read a headline like that, BlackRock warning on long-term bonds, that should tell you that they know what we know. You understand? And if you're not ready for what's coming, people, I can't tell you how done you are. They're going to do this in a very... Look, this is a war right now, in case you don't know. You're under attack. You have a target on your face. It is tattooed on, and you can't get it off. This is a war. Central banks against we the people of the world. Okay? And they are winning, and there's no way they're not going to win here. They're destroying us all. They are destroying us all. Now, what's going to end up happening here is everyone's going to be blindsided by this. Those who don't know where to look what they're looking at or why it's happening. You understand? But you and I, again, here's another situation where we are light years ahead of the curve. And I mean light years ahead of the curve, because you and I have been talking about this for I don't know how freaking long. So we're ready from every angle. And we're going to continue to be ready. And we're going to continue to take action. That means betting against the debt, becoming your own central bank, making the right connections here, realizing that we're not each other's enemies, because this divide and conquer mechanism that has been going on since time immemorial, they're utilizing that right now to bring us to our knees. They're going to make us beg for a new system. That's what they're doing. They're dismantling the current system. You all know this. They're going to do so in such a way that they're going to make people beg on their knees. Problem, reaction, solution. Problem, reaction, solution. It's always the same. Anyway, the signs are everywhere. BlackRock here. Inflation here to stay. Next decade of instability. And the European Central Bank moving towards cutting rates. So is the Fed. They're going to work in lockstep. You all know that. Anyway, that's it, people. Pretty much we're there. We know what to do. Again, why we're doing it and everything else. This guy here loves you a lot from the heart, people. I mean that. I will see all of you later, 4:05 p.m. Eastern for the live stream. I really hope to see you there, honestly. Until that time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, okay? See you later.